marks the beginning of the missionary month as well as the feast day of Little Flower, the patroness of the missions. And the Gospel reflection of today from Luke chapter 10 verses 13 to 16 for part of Christ's address to the 70 when sending them forth on their mission.
And as ye go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Simon Bar-Jonah, by the authority of the holy priesthood that I hold.
They indicate that the punishment for rejecting the disciples will be the same as that of the cities which were unreceptive to the ministry of the Master. Having mentioned the punishment of those cities which should reject his ministers in verse 12, it naturally brought to his mind the sad state and punishment of the cities where he himself had preached most frequently, namely Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum. Though he had often resided in those cities and performed many miracles before the inhabitants of them, they had continued impenitent. Wherefore, because he was never to preach to them any more, and because he knew how great their punishment would be, in the overflowing tenderness of his soul, he affectionately lamented their stubbornness, which he foresaw would draw down on them the heaviest judgments. The same declaration Christ had made some time before. By repeating it now, he wants the 70 not to lose time by going to those cities again. At the same time, this part of his discourse to the disciples was well calculated to comfort these disciples now sent out under the rejection they might meet with. The more we hear God's truth and the more we see Him move, the more we are accountable for. Since the people of Chorazin and Bethsaida and Capernaum had received such convincing signs, they were held to greater account for what they have seen. The cities of Chorazin and Bethsaida and Capernaum received much but repented little. It is a great mystery why some receive so many chances and such clear help, yet refuse to repent. Capernaum especially was exalted to heaven because it was the adopted home of Jesus during the days of his Galilean ministry, hearing much of his teachings and seeing many of his miracles. Jesus said that it would be more tolerable for some in the day of judgment than for others. No one will have it good in hell, but some will have it worse than the others. The Bible never specifically mentioned Jesus' miracles in Chorazin. This is an indication that the Gospels give us sketches of Jesus' life, not full biographies. The Apostle John admitted this, saying, "It would be impossible to recount everything Jesus did." The Bible never specifically mentions Jesus' miracles in Chorazin. This is an indication that the Gospels give us sketches of Jesus' life, not full biographies. The Apostle John admitted this, saying, "It would be impossible to recount everything Jesus did." He who hears you hears me. He who rejects you rejects me. And he who rejects me rejects him who sent me. As he sent his 70 disciples, with the anticipation that some would reject them, Jesus also encouraged them with the thought that they were his representatives and should not take their rejection or acceptance too personally. If others rejected the messengers, they rejected Jesus and also rejected his Father, him who sent me. It is helpful for all servants of God to not hold either praise or rejection too tightly. If they truly represent their Master, the success or rejection of their work is more due to him than to them. Their greatest concern should not be with success or rejection, but with properly representing Jesus, their Master. Dear friends, as we reflect over this passage, let's keep in mind the fact that the more will be asked from the one who received more. We, as missionaries and representatives of Christ, may have the courage to preach him in word and deed without the concern about success or rejection in our mission fields. May God be with us on our journey.